Welcome to the Loaded Cannon, and today we're going to start with a dedication for someone who was an advocate of the Palestinian cause, who spoke up for the Palestinian cause as they should due to their position, but also due to their position it would have been also a difficult thing for them to do. And typically you see people in very, very high up positions, very influential positions, taking the position of cowardice, but not Pope Francis. So rest in peace to him, and this video is dedicated to him, because if the most influential, most senior position in the whole of the Christian faith is not going to come out strongly against the atrocities that are going on in Palestine, then you sort of start to lose all hope. So he did, and he did it, with gusto, and I really, really liked that about him. And maybe I shouldn't be surprised. As I say, he should absolutely be doing it. But, an easier life would be to not to do that. And he didn't choose that easy life. So good on him anyway. He did what he should have done. And he did it well. Rest in peace to him. Right, now we move on. Arsenal 2, Palace 2. Now, let me propose something to you. Arsenal don't win today, but we beat PSG at home in the Champions League semi-final. We don't even beat Bournemouth at home in the game after that, but we go and complete the job in the semi-final, second leg away in Paris, which I'd love to go to, by the way, but seems sort of impossible. Anyway, so would you accept that? Of course you would. My point is, I do not care about today. All that matters today is that we go and do the business in the really, really meaningful game. And that is all I care about. In fact, I didn't have many expectations from today. I actually thought we'd play even worse, and I thought we might even lose today. Because even in my last match reaction, after that, I was talking about the Paris game. I almost totally forgot we were playing Palace. And it's just, the season's finished. Obviously, everyone knows Liverpool are going to win the league. We've all known that for a long time. The closer and closer it gets, the more meaningless this becomes. If we had a team in third place truly breathing down our neck, there might be more riding on the game, because you want to sort of still finish second at least. It would almost be like a rewriting of history if somehow Man City or Nottingham Forest pip us to second place, because the league table would suggest that they were the team that were, if anyone, making Liverpool even slightly uncomfortable at any point. But, look, it is what it is. I don't care about today. The 2-2 is disappointing. And there are some things to talk about in that. The first one, Kiwior. I'm really happy for him, because he had his moment today, and I think he's been appreciated in recent weeks for coming in some massive games and doing really well. But ultimately, it was nice for him to get on the score sheet today, to get the applause of the crowd and really be noticed. Because, when a defender does his job really well, that's often without doing anything miraculous, just not making a mistake. But it's nice for him to actually do something that gets the cameras on him, gets him on the replays, etc. So very happy for him. He deserved that moment. It's a shame it didn't end up being something that we built upon and got a win, but he did deserve that moment. And now let's talk about his central defensive partner today, because William Saliba, we always say he's an absolute Rolls Royce of a player. He's so polished, so good at what he does, and just so dominant. But today, and in the game against Real Madrid away, he's made mistakes that have led to goals, and it's nothing to worry about, because he's absolutely class, and we all know that. But even the first one was a surprise. And now 2, you think, oh, God. And yeah, I don't know. It's difficult, because in one game, you'd say to yourself, it could not have possibly been a lack of concentration, because he clearly would have been hyper-focused for that game in Madrid. You just put that down to a mistake. Maybe today he was slightly off it, because I expect the players to be, in all honesty. How can anyone tell me that they're not thinking about the game against PSG? But maybe I'm just reading into it. Maybe it's just another mistake, a poor mistake. And also, you think to yourself, if Gabriel's there, he's not going to be as weak as Martin Odegaard was in letting Mateta, push him off the ball, basically. But Odegaard, it was a mismatch, absolute mismatch. And I'm not blaming Odegaard. I'm not even blaming David Raya for being out of position. These players do this all the time. And when the pass from Saliba is the right pass, you don't even think about anything there. So they were doing what they've been doing all season, and the mistake is with Saliba. Are you worried? Does anyone think that there's anything to talk about there with Saliba? Is he slightly off the pace? 2 mistakes. Will it get into his head? Could it affect him in the PSG game? French player playing against France's #1 club. There'll be that added scrutiny of a player like Saliba in French media and French press, etc. And also, he would be a jewel in the crown player for PSG. Marquinhos is getting older, and Saliba is exactly the sort of player that a team like that would want, given the whole French connection. So I think there will be a lot of pressure on Saliba. It's unfortunate that he made this mistake today. But look, he's big enough to deal with it, and I'm sure he'll have a stellar game against PSG. Now, we have to talk about Mateta's goal. Wow, what a finish. I mean, the technique on that, the ball got away from him, and the way he extended his leg, managed to wrap his foot around the ball, but still managed to get so much control on the ball and that perfect precision. Oh, it's just, what a goal. What a brilliant goal. Really was a thing of beauty. And it does make me wonder, Palace have got some decent players, and Eze scored a brilliant goal as well. He'll be feeling a bit gutted because the goal he scored was a goal that should be talked about, but no one's going to talk about it now, given the goal that Mateta scored. But, with Mateta, there's Sarr, there's Eze, there's Mateta, Guehi at Palace. There's some really, really good players there. Even Henderson, what a brilliant save from Saka as well in this game. But Mateta especially, because he's a centre-forward, I have actually watched him at points this season, and he's unrecognisable from the player that started out in the Premier League and couldn't hit a barn door. And I feel like, there's other players that go through good patches, like Nicholas Jackson. Despite his good patches, I've always looked at him and thought, I can tell you're not the man. And what really surprised me was Ian Wright. Maybe he's just trying to support, a young striker. And he said there's something in there. And I thought to myself, well, my God, Ian Wright knows his strikers. But I just never saw it with Nicholas Jackson. But I'm telling you, with Mateta, I really feel like there is a player in there. And you might turn around and say, no, come on, not at all. I'm not saying we should go for him. I'm just saying that I would not be surprised if someone takes a punt on Mateta that he's in the big time in a couple of years, in maybe 2-3 years. I think he's got something about him. Obviously, Ollie Watkins is further ahead of him, and Arsenal were in for him in January. It might be someone like him that we go for. But anyway, eyes on Mateta. I'm saying it now. I think he could be a really good player. Now, look, I'm going to wrap up this video just by making one point. This was our 13th draw of the season. 13 draws. That's an incredible amount of draws. And you think to yourself, like, in terms of defensive records, we're very, very good. Home and away, we've got a very good defensive record, and we're sort of like, definitely within the top 5 in the league, maybe top 3 in the league, both home and away in terms of goals conceded. So it's not that, but the fact that we have drawn 6 games at home out of 17 and 7 games away out of 17. I mean, that is poor. That's a really poor effort. And when you think about the fact that we are 12 points away from Liverpool as it stands, it's those games. That's it. It's about converting those tight games that you're struggling to win into from a draw into a victory. And given that our defensive record is good, you have to look at the fact that it's those important goals. It's that ability to break down a team when they know they're hanging on for a point. And we come back to the striker conversation. It's crazy. I feel like we missed Marino today because he's done such a good job in that role. But we need a striker. Let me know in the comments below who you'd like to see Arsenal sign for that centre-forward position, and whether you think that would make the difference in terms of converting these games that we're drawing into games that we would win, that would make us truly competitive over a 38-game league season. Thankfully, in a cup competition like Champions League, you can sort of manage that and get away with that. 1 draw out of the 2 games isn't that bad. You can draw away, win at home, and you're all good. Fingers crossed we do that against PSG. I'll see you on the 29th. I cannot wait. Take care.